Chapter 16, Christmas. Time skip girls' dormitories. Snow fell gently outside the Gryffindor tower windows, covering the castle in soft white. Inside, the fire glowed with golden warmth, and the common room smelled faintly of hot chocolate, toasted marshmallows, and evergreen. Hayley stirred under her blankets, blinking awake to the sound of excited whispers. "Presents," Iris whispered from the next bed, eyes shining. Hayley grinned sleepily. "Presents." They both scrambled out of bed, slippers on, and hurried down the spiral staircase toward the common room. Time skip common room. The sight stole Hayley's breath. The common room was transformed again, garlands sparkling, candles floating lazily, the Christmas tree twinkling with golden light. A pile of wrapped gifts sat at its base. A sleepy Sirius sat on the floor in red and gold pajamas, hair sticking up in every direction. James sat beside him, wearing a sweater Euphemia had clearly knitted bright red with a giant J on the front. "Morning munchkins," Sirius yawned. "Hayley and Iris are literally 1 year younger than us," James muttered. "They're short," Sirius countered. "Therefore, munchkin." Hayley rolled her eyes and plopped beside them. "Open mine first," James said, shoving a lumpy gift to her. "I thought Christmas was about giving," Remus said lazily from an armchair. "It is," James said. "I gave her the chance to open my amazing present." Hayley tore the paper, revealing a Gryffindor scarf with "Hayley" embroidered in gold. Her heart swelled. "Thanks, James." He looked smug. "Knew you'd love it." Then came Sirius's gift, a little enchanted snow globe of Hogwarts. Inside, tiny versions of students flew around the castle on broomsticks. "It's adorable," Hayley said, mesmerized. "I call it How Hayley Will Die," Sirius declared proudly. "Dangerously good," Sirius corrected. Remus gave Hayley his gift, a necklace with a wolf paw pendant, and she looks at Remus. "Thanks, Remus," Hayley said softly. Remus smiled. Iris opened her presents too, a book from Remus, a prank kit from Sirius, and a soft blue scarf knitted by Euphemia. James insisted she send extras. Time skipped the Great Hall. Later in the Great Hall, students opened letters and packages from home. Hayley unfolded one from her parents, smiling at the neat handwriting. "Come home for Christmas, sweetheart. Bring Iris with you if she'd like. We'd love to have her. We'll send the flu time." Hayley gasped. "Iris, Mum says you can come home with us for Christmas." Iris froze, fork halfway to her mouth, which Lily caught from the corner of her eye. "Me, really. Mum loves when James brings friends. She'll love you too." Iris blinked rapidly, wiping her eyes quickly. I'd love that." Across the table, James leaned over. "Trust me, it's great. Mum cooks enough to feed the entire school. Dad tells stories that make Sirius cry." "I was 11, Sirius interrupted, "and the story was emotional." "And Mum will definitely adopt you," James finished. Iris flushed, smiling shyly. Time skip, flew fireplaces. That afternoon, after packing small bags and bundling up in cloaks, Hayley, Iris, and Sirius headed to the flu fireplaces under McGonagall's supervision. "Behave," McGonagall warned Sirius. "I always behave," Sirius lied. She raised a brow. "I said behave, not create chaos strategically." Sirius grinned. "Ah, that's different." They stepped into the emerald flames, and moments later, stumbled into the warmth of the Potter family living room. It was cozy, filled with festive lights, garlands, a crackling fireplace, and the smell of gingerbread. Euphemia appeared instantly warm-eyed, soft smile, wearing a reindeer-patterned apron. "Oh, Hayley, sweetheart, James wrote us you'd bring a friend." She stopped when she saw Iris, small, nervous, scarf wrapped tightly around her. Euphemia's face softened. "Oh, sweetheart," she said gently, kneeling. "Welcome to the Potter house." Iris blinked. "Thank you." Euphemia hugged her instantly as Hayley beamed. Fleamont greeted Sirius necked, ruffling his hair. "You keeping trouble out of Hogwarts, lad?" "Who, me?" Sirius tried. Fleamont laughed. That's what I thought. James arrived a second later through the flue, covered in soot. Mum, I told you Sirius would push me. I didn't push you, Sirius said. I guided you. Time skip Christmas morning. Hayley woke to Sirius shouting at James. You stole MY stocking. It was empty, PADFOOT. I was still using it. Hayley burst out laughing. Downstairs, the living room was filled with presents. Iris received a knitted jumper from Euphemia, blue with snowflakes. A book of wizarding riddles from Fleamont. A silver clip shaped like a lily from Hayley. A lion-shaped plushie from James. A muggle snow globe from Sirius. Hayley received her gifts, too warm and cozy. But seeing Iris's joy for once instead of fear to go home was the real present. They spent the day eating, laughing, playing games, and listening to Fleamont tell stories. Iris stuck close to Hayley the whole time, smiling in disbelief at every warm moment. Time skip Hayley's and Iris's room. Back in her room, Hayley sat on her bed with a quill in hand. The house was quiet, except the distant sound of Sirius and James bickering about exploding snap cards. She opened her journal. Christmas. Iris came home with us. She smiled more today than I ever seen her smile. Mum hugged her. Dad told her stories. James gave here a lion plushie, and she pretended she didn't love it, but she loved it. Sirius tried to adopt her. Mum said no. Hogwarts feels like home, but today felt like family. Love, Hayley. She closed the journal, hugging the new scarf her mother knitted her. Downstairs, she heard Sirius shout, James, PUT the snowball DOWN. Hayley giggled into her pillow. Christmas at the Potters was perfect, and she was so glad Iris was part of it. Chapter 17, New Spell. Time skip back at Hogwarts. The Hogwarts Express ride back from Christmas break was full of warmth and chatter. Hayley and Iris shared chocolate frogs from Mrs. Potter, while Sirius told dramatic stories about James slipping on ice. He screamed like a banshee. Sirius laughed. Did not, James yelled. By the time the train slowed into Hogsmeade Station, the winter sky was dark and glittering with stars. Snowflakes fell in thick, soft flurries as students rushed into the castle, excited to return. Inside, the great hall sparkled with post-holiday decor. Icicles hung from the ceiling, charmed not to melt, and snow drifted down in shimmering flakes that vanished before touching the tables. But Hayley noticed something else the moment she walked in. Lily and Snape weren't speaking. Lily laughed with Marlene and Alice. Snape walked past silently, his shoulders tense, eyes down. He didn't look toward Lily once. Hayley felt a soft ache tug inside her chest, for both of them. Time skip hallway. When Hayley and Iris reached the staircase leading toward the Gryffindor tower, they nearly collided with Regulus Black and Sophia Crouch coming down. Regulus paused. Sophia smiled brightly. Welcome back, have a good Christmas. Hayley nodded. Yeah, you. Sophia rolled her eyes in fond exasperation. Quiet. Mostly involve Regulus pretending he wasn't interested in the heirloom his mother gave him. Regulus went rigid. Hayley blinked. Heirloom. Sophia nodded. An engraved black family signet ring, real sliver. Apparently it marks the continuation of noble bloodlines or, she waved her hand dramatically, something like that. Regulus cleared his throat, cheeks faintly pink. It's not. Pretending, it's a symbol of heritage. My mother was pleased. Hayley heard what he didn't say, which means I did something right. Iris whispered, sounds heavy. Regulus's eyes flickered, just for a moment, with something vulnerable beneath the polished composure. It is, he admitted softly. Hayley smiled gently, not mocking, not pitying, just understanding. Well, it suits you, she said. Regulus looked up, startled. His gray eyes met hers, and something in his shoulders eased. Good to see you back, he said quietly. Hayley felt her cheeks warm. You too, Regulus. Sophia grinned between them. like she could see something neither dared name. They parted at the landing, the air tingling with something new and unspoken. Hayley didn't know what had changed over Christmas, but she knew this. Regulus was still a Slytherin, still quiet, still sharp. But now, he didn't look at her like she was the enemy, he looked at her like. He'd started to choose things for himself. Time skip, Gryffindor common room. That night, after unpacking, the common room glowed with firelight. Upper years lounged with cups of cocoa, a few played wizard chess, and Sirius tried to charm James's Quidditch robes to sing carols, but he was losing. Hayley settled into a quiet corner with Iris, textbooks spread out in front of them. "Let's practice some charms before classes start again," Iris said, flipping through her book. "Something simple." "I can do simple," Hayley said, cracking her fingers dramatically. She raised her wand and aimed at herself, intending to cast a warming charm. Iris instantly panicked. "No, don't practice spells on yourself. That's like rule number 1. "It's a tiny charm," Hayley said confidently. "What's the worst that?" She pointed her wand at her arm. "Elusio abscondir." A soft shimmer, a ripple, a cold rush like wind against her skin. "Hayley," Iris whispered. Hayley looked down. Her hand wasn't there. Her arm wasn't there. Her entire body was gone. Only her voice remained. "Iris, I can't see you." "Iris, I can't see me either." Iris slapped a hand over her mouth to muffle a shriek. Okay, don't panic, don't panic." "I'm panicking." "Right, so you panic for the both of us." Hayley felt around wildly, accidentally knocking books off the table. "Ow, that was my knee, I think." Iris crawled around, whispering frantically. Okay, anti-vanishing charms, counter spells, oh Merlin, Hayley, if McGonagall finds out." "Don't say her name," Hayley hissed invisibly. "She's like a bat, she'll appear out of nowhere." Iris flipped pages desperately. Finally, she found it. "Okay, counterspell, stand still." "I can't see where still is." "Just don't move." Iris pointed her wand. "Revelo corporum." A flash of soft gold swept across the air, and slowly, Hayley shimmered back into existence. First her hands, then her arms, then her whole body. She gasped, touching her face dramatically. "I have a nose again." Iris sagged against the chair with relief. "Oh, thank Merlin." Hayley sat down hard. "I turned invisible." "You invented a spell." "No, yes, help." "Do not tell James," Iris said immediately. "Do not tell Sirius," Hayley added. "Do not tell Remus," Iris insisted. "Do not tell anyone." They looked at each other then, in perfect unison. "Especially not McGonagall." Hayley buried her face in her hands. "What if she finds out?" Iris shuddered. "She'll put you in a lab, or a glass case, or ask you to demonstrate until you disappear again." Hayley swallowed. She didn't want to disappear again. At least, not accidentally. Time skip, bedtime. Later, when the common room had emptied, Hayley sat on her bed, candle flickering softly. She opened her journal and wrote, "January 4th. I turned myself invisible today, completely invisible. I didn't mean to. I didn't even know the spell I said. Iris said I invented it. I hope I didn't. I'm scared and excited. What if I can't control it? What if someone finds out? What if it happens again without warning? I've decided to keep this a secret, at least, until I understand what I did. Hayley." She closed the journal, heart thumbing softly in her chest. Tomorrow, Hogwarts would wake again. Classes would begin. Life would move on. But Hayley Potter was no longer just doing magic, she was creating it. And that was terrifying and extraordinary. Chapter 18, The Magic She Can't Hide. Time skip, Transfiguration. The first Transfiguration class after Christmas was held in a room still decorated with elegant silver icicles and floating snowflakes that never melted. Students filed in sleepily, rubbing their eyes and clutching warm parchment cups of cocoa McGonagall allowed only during winter months. Hayley took her usual seat beside Iris, but her hands trembled slightly as she opened her book. She didn't sleep well. Every time she closed her eyes, she felt the spell pulsing faintly under her skin like static in her fingers. She didn't trust her wand. She didn't trust herself. She wasn't sure she was done being invisible. Iris nudged her gently. "You're okay," she whispered. Hayley nodded, but she wasn't. Not really. Time skip class begins. McGonagall entered in her emerald robes, sweeping silently to the front of the room. "Good morning," she said, tone crisp. "Today we will review partial transfigurations, focusing on..." Her sentence paused, not for dramatic effect, not for attention, but because her sharp eyes had locked onto one student, Hayley Potter. Hayley stiffened. McGonagall's expression didn't change, but something in her gaze narrowed, assessing, calculating, noticing. Hayley swallowed hard and looked down at her textbook. McGonagall resumed speaking, but her eyes flicked back to Hayley more than once. Halfway through class, McGonagall asked the students to practice turning beetles into buttons. Simple, harmless, beginner level. Hayley raised her wand slowly, cautiously. Vertifatio. The beetle shimmered, wiggled, and then vanished, not transformed, not moved, not transfigured. Hayley's breath caught. She slapped her hand over the spot where it was, hopping no one saw but McGonagall definitely saw. Her head snapped up sharply. "Miss Potter." Hayley froze. "Yes, Professor." "Did your beetle just..." McGonagall's eyes narrowed. "Case to exist." "No," Hayley squeaked. No, I think it wandered away." Iris facepalmed silently beside her. McGonagall stepped closer, wand flicking once. A faint shimmer appeared on Hayley's desk, the outline of a beetle, completely invisible. McGonagall's brow arched. "Ahem." That was all she said, but that single him felt heavier than 1,000 glares. She turned away, but her eyes lingered on Hayley again and again throughout the lesson. Time skip after class. After class, Hayley hurried out, hopping to escape before anyone said anything, but James caught up to her on the stairs, tugging gently at the back of her robe. "Hey," he said softly, "what's up?" Hayley blinked. "What do you mean?" James frowned, not angrily, not teasingly, just brotherly. "You're off," he said, studying her face. Off, not just tired." Hayley's heart pounded. She shook her head quickly. "I'm fine, James." "Hayley." James said her name the way Mum or Dad would say it, quiet, patient, impossible to lie to. Hayley swallowed, but what was she supposed to tell him? "Hey, James, I accidentally turned invisible, and now my magic's weird and I'm terrified." "No, absolutely no." "I'm just adjusting," Hayley said. "Back to school stuff." James didn't look convinced. "You know you can tell me anything, right? You know that, yeah." His voice softened. "I'm not perfect, but I'm still your brother." Hayley's chest tightened. "I know," she whispered. James squeezed her shoulders, then walked ahead, giving her space, but leaving the offer hanging gently between them. Time skip common room. Later that afternoon, between classes, Iris came running into the common room pale as parchment. "Hayley," she hissed, "McGonagall talked to me." Hayley stood up so fast she tripped over her own bag. "She what?" "She noticed your beetle turning invisible, and how you kept glancing at your hands, and how you were shaking, and how your magic flickered when you picked up your wand." Hayley groaned into her hands. "Oh no, oh no, oh no." "She asked me if you were feeling well," Iris continued breathlessly, "and I panicked and said you had seasonal allergies." "Iris, it's January." "I know, Hayley, but I panicked and it came out of my mouth." Hayley sank onto the couch, burying her face. "She's on to me," Hayley whispered. "She's not on to you," Iris said quickly, "but she knows something's weird." "Because something is weird." Iris sat beside her. "Hayley, we need to figure out exactly what you did." Hayley stared at her trembling hands. "I know." Tim Skip, Great Hall. That evening at dinner, Hayley felt it again. Not a stare, a presence. She looked up, and at the staff table, McGonagall was not eating. She was watching the Gryffindor table quietly, her gaze sliding now and then to where Hayley sat. Not suspicious, not angry, concerned. Hayley felt her stomach knot. Time skip night. Under her blankets, wand lit softly beneath the covers, Hayley opened her journal. She wrote shakily. January 6th. McGonagall knows something's wrong, but she doesn't know what, but she knows. James is starting to notice too. I didn't mean to do it again. I didn't even try. The beetle went invisible like it was. Easy. My magic feels strange, like it's walking ahead of me instead of beside me. I'm scared, but I don't want anyone else to be scared too. Especially James, especially McGonagall. I have to figure this out before they do. Hayley. She closed her journal, heart pounding. Her wand hummed softly in her hand, like it was waiting for something only she could find.